Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
My children, of course, had chores at dinner time. They set the table, helped with drinks, and served the food. Then after we were done, they cleared the table and put away the leftovers while I washed the dishes. When everyone worked together, all went smoothly. At the end of Matthew 15, we find Jesus and His disciples out in the wilderness, surrounded by 4,000 men, and probably their families too. They'd been there for 3 days, listening to Jesus teach and watching Him heal, without anything to eat. From the parallel passage in Mark, we know that this crowd, unlike the 5,000 in an earlier passage, had both Jews and Gentiles. So when Jesus decided to feed them, this was an issue. Jews and Gentiles never ate together. And Jews, which all of the disciples were, certainly didn't serve Gentiles. And they didn't have enough food for all those people. Where would they find food in the wilderness? But Jesus took the 7 loaves and the few fish that they had, gave thanks, broke them, and gave them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the multitude, without arguing. They served even the Gentiles. So everyone ate and was filled, and they took up 7 large baskets full of fragments that were left. We've talked about the story before and learned a lot from it. I always love how Jesus got His disciples involved in the miracle, in serving and in picking up the leftovers, which they probably ate the next day. But the thing is, He does the same for us. He provides the miracle of the gospel, salvation, justification, sanctification, all we'll ever need. But His plan is for us to give it out, like the disciples did with the loaves and fishes. We tell others and experience it for ourselves, just like the disciples got to eat for themselves, and they were full too. And what are the leftovers? As followers of Jesus, we are to disciple others. When someone becomes a new Christian, they've got to have someone more mature to disciple them, teach them, help them grow in Christ. And that's our job, giving out the fish and loaves. One friend of mine that I've discipled has since moved away, but she calls me every once in a while just to tell me what God's been doing in her life, what she's been learning, and opportunities that she's had to tell others about Jesus. She's always so excited to let me know how God has been using her in different ways, whether it's in her family, with a neighbor, or the guy who just came to lay the tile in her daughter's house. For me, that's like the leftovers in this story, seeing little tidbits of what God's doing in the lives of people. It thrills me every time to know that God used me to touch someone's life, and now He's using them to reach others. How are you serving the bread and fish that Jesus has given you? And what leftovers have you enjoyed lately?
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.